Mr. Fetters, you say you're in the midst of a divorce because your soon-to-be ex-wife is a serial adulterer who even cheated on you on Valentine's Day, which you believe resulted in the birth of her 9-month-old son, Corbin.
Yes, Your Honor.
You say there is no way you are Corbin's father and would like your name removed from the birth certificate when that is proven. Is that correct?
That is correct, Your Honor.
Ms. Fetters, you say your husband is an irresponsible crybaby who can't keep a job, stay faithful, or please a woman.
Yes, Your
While
Honor.
you admit to making some mistakes, you say Mr. Fetters is undoubtedly Corbin's biological father, and you intend to prove that today. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Fetters, how did you end up in court?
Well, today, Your Honor, I ended up in court because my wife is a cheater, and I do not believe that the
is not
son that
correct.
she bared 9 months ago is mine.
So you are firm on that belief?
Yes, Your Honor, I do.
And so you say that she's a cheater.
Yes.
And how do you know that?
Well, it all began when we first met at a water bowl. I thought I had met her at love at first sight. Up until the 6-month mark, she had informed me that she had actually had slept with my family member.
Oh! 6 months into your relationship, your girlfriend sleeps with your family member.
Yes.
And then you make her your wife?
Not until 2.5, 3 years later did I ask her to marry me.
So, Miss Fetters, did you sleep with the family member?
No, I did not. The family member and himself lack in a department, so I did not finish the duty. Nothing happened.
Oh!
He just thinks something happens. He has no hard facts or information, and when I do sleep with someone else, I tell him the truth.
Well, Mr. Fetters, she says if she did it, she would tell you.
I find that hard to believe because when he was conceived, I had to pry the information as to why she was wanting to leave me in the first place, and come to find out she had actually slept with her ex-husband, Justin. And this was the day before Valentine's at midnight. We went to go see 50 Shades of Grey. So we had a wonderful night.
So, Miss Fetters, you have a date night. You go to movies.
It was a good night. We came home. He didn't see I have a problem. In a relationship, I feel sex is a part of a relationship. Well, this man lacks on that part of a relationship. So the fact that I wasn't going to get it when I wanted it, I told him what I was doing.
She wouldn't have stayed with me for 8 years.
What I was doing. I'm not a liar. I'm very, very honest. So when I left that night, he knew where I was because he tried to hunt me down but couldn't find me. So let's be completely honest.
So wait a minute, you said...
I'm going to be with my ex-husband.
No.
That is what I said. And he knows.
Before you left?
Before I left.
She did not, Your Honor.
So wait, you go to the movies and have a good date night, and by the end, you're in the bed with your ex-husband?
Yeah, he didn't want to be sexually active with me. So I was over it. He gives it to other women, but he won't give it to me.
Your Honor,
you have sex with other women, but you won't have sex with your wife?
She has no factual proof. I've never slept with any other women outside of our relationship.
When did she come back?
She contacted me at 7:30 in the morning to let me know where she was at. So I came there with our 2 children at the time, and she had told me that she didn't want to be with me. So I had pleaded and begged her, you know, what is it that I need to do and what can I do to make this right? She tells me and persists to tell me nothing. I said, well, what happened last night to make you feel this way? She tells me that she had slept with her ex-husband, Justin. Not only once, but 3 times during the night.
Oh, that's incorrect.
That's not incorrect. That is very factual.
Oh, my goodness.
Miss Fetters, did you say that?
No, I did not.
What did you say?
I told him that I spent the night with him.
Was it protected sex?
Nope.
He actually didn't completely finish.
Okay, so he did not finish the act.
Correct.
And you admitted this to your husband?
Correct. And he knew. And then shortly after, yes, I got pregnant.
Hold on, before we get there. Mr. Fetters, your wife tells you she slept with her ex.
I loved her so much at the time that I was willing to forgive anything that she ever done just to be able to keep her and have her in my life.
And so how soon after that did you start having sex with your wife again?
The next day.
The next morning, actually. It was or not the next morning, I'm sorry.
The next day.
It was that morning of, Your Honor. We had sex.
It was the very next
It was
day.
about 11 o'clock that morning that we had sex after picking her up and her having sex with her ex-husband.
Wait, but she told you she had sex with her ex-husband.
I understand that.
And then you all go home and then you have sex with her the very next morning?
That is correct.
Just hours later?
Yes.
Knowing she had just slept with her ex-husband?
And it was unprotected as well.
What in the world? Mr.
Yeah.
Miss Fetters, so it was just hours later?
Yeah.
I thought it was the next
It
morning.
was like the very next morning. I came home at like 7 a.m. and then when we talked and then he persuaded me and I felt obligated, that's when it was like 11 a.m., almost noonish, and we did.
There was no persuasion, Your Honor. She actually had
Yes.
felt bad.
No, you persuaded me and you begged me and pleaded and had tears. Constant
I've
tears.
never had to beg and plead.
Yes,
so.
you did. You just said you did. Always.
So now
pleaded
this
and
is
begged.
the actual Valentine's Day.
Yes, Your
I
Honor.
mean, what a 24-hour period.
Man, it's the craziest.
I don't even know why you all went to the movie. I mean, you all are making a movie. This is a full-on movie. This movie is called 50 Shades of Messy. If you want more episodes of Paternity Court, make sure to subscribe and click on the notification bell. So, how soon after this incident did you find out you were pregnant?
I found out, I would say, just like maybe a month later, a month and a half, I found out. And the conception date was between February 11th to February 14th. They gave me that window.
So that's right there
Well,
in the sweet spot,
Yes, it is, Your Honor.
or sour spot. This is, I don't even know. Wow, so the conception window pointed right to the dates when you were with both men. You've been honest about it.
yes.
And so when you found out she was pregnant, Mr. Fetters, were you happy about it? Were you concerned? What did you
I
feel?
was very, very concerned for whether or not the fact that that child could possibly be mine. The reason being is because, like she said, she did tell me that she did have unprotected sex. However, until today, she neglected to tell me that he didn't finish, which I find that very, very, very hard to believe. Because you just don't have relations and just don't finish.
Well, let me clear something up for you.
Because that's what she's sitting here obviously complaining about me.
Let me
so
clear something up
she
for
goes to
you.
somebody else to do the same
My
thing.
marriage with him ended because he can't have children. A doctor told him his sperm count is too low to conceive.
So
No.
did the doctor tell him he can't have it?
Yes, it's a very low chance that he can have any children.
Do you have
That's why I wanted to
Very
start
low is different than can't.
Right.
Well, he doesn't
Absolutely,
have
I
any
agree
yet, so I
with that.
don't know. I just don't think.
Do you have the paperwork to
I'm
prove it?
more than. No, I do not.
Okay,
I seen
so-
it. We were together. We
All
were
right.
married at that time.
So, Mr. Fetters, when your wife gave birth, where were you? Did you show up? Did you participate? Were you there?
Yeah, I was there every step of the way. I was there for pretty much majority of the appointments if I wasn't at work. I was there for skin-on-skin contact because the mother had to have a C-section. So I was there to hold him against my skin for the first 2 or 3 hours. So I developed a really tight bond with that child.
And that makes you emotional when you look at him.
Very much so.
What do you feel?
If he is mine, I'll love him like my mama, like the rest of my children. But if he's not, that's not going to be my responsibility. It's the other man's responsibility as a father and a man to raise his child.
I have undeniable proof of why I believe he's yours.
And what proof?
Why do you believe it, Miss Fetters?
Because as the other children he has, and my son and himself all have cleft chins. It's hereditary. One parent has to carry that gene. I believe undeniably that is his son. I actually have research that I have done myself as well.
So you're a doctor now?
Can you hand that research up? Jerome, may I have that, please?
Yes,
Thank you.
you're welcome.
A cleft chin is a facial characteristic on a person's chin that is an indentation on the bottom of the chin or resembles a dimple. This is caused during the fetal development stage when the lower portion of the jaw doesn't completely fuse together. The cleft chin is a dominant trait, and a child with a cleft chin has inherited the gene from one parent or both parents?
I do not have one.
Your Honor, but the other possible potential father does have one.
No, he does not.
I mean, I don't really see where the dimple is in that picture, but there is dimples. As far as, I mean, you can see mine distinctively, but that's a pretty old picture. I mean, and it's in black and white, so I honestly, to this day, I don't understand why she would, in this point in time, if she believes that I was the full holy-hearted father, why would she involve him at this time to say, hey, you might potentially be the father of Corbin now, instead of just leaving it between me and her.
I had him
She
come around
introduced him.
because I wanted him to come around, and because that's my choice as an adult. I make my choices.
Why would you bring another man
I
around
can bring
if you don't
whoever I
believe that
want
he's the
around,
father?
Justin. It
And then
doesn't
tell him
mean
that he could
anything.
possibly be the father.
Well, I did not
that
tell
makes
him
no
that.
sense. Yes, you did.
Whatever.
So wait,
Why would he be around if you didn't?
Because I want him around. Isn't that my choice?
Okay, that makes no sense.
Okay.
this really doesn't make any sense. You know there's a question of paternity.
Mm-hmm.
You develop a relationship with the baby.
Mm-hmm.
You've been in Corbin's life.
In and out.
I have been in his life. I just got back from Florida a month ago due to a job opportunity that I had. I was down in Florida for 4 months. This is right after we had split up, I had left.
So you've been there, but you don't think he's your biological child.
Because as soon as I left for Florida, she started having Mr. Edmondson come around and see Corbin, and
He was there to see me.
but
Why
you
does it have to be about the baby?
if he's-
Can't be about me?
Oh, but you have a boyfriend. Why would
What
you have
I
another
do
man
is
come
my
see
business.
you?
Who I
Okay,
have
so
come
there,
to
that
my
makes
home
plenty
is
of
my
sense.
So,
Why I
Ms.
don't believe that
Fetters,
he could
are
possibly
you
be the father.
stating that you are in fact back with your ex now?
No, I am not stating that. We are very close. We've known each other over 10 years. We were high school sweethearts. We have a friendship. He does not come over for any sexual anything. He comes over to just see me. I've known him
Okay.
for a really long time.
So are you in a relationship with somebody else?
Yes, I'm in a committed, happy
But
relationship.
she's having him come over while he's at work.
He's there. No,
he's been at
not.
work. You've confided in me. He's been at work when he's came over.
Okay, think what you want.
And he's came over when
Whatever.
her boyfriend is there. It's crazy, Your Honor. And she's living in our house still. My grandparents had bought the house for me and our family at the time, so that way we had a stable place and never had to worry about anything as far as losing it. All we had to do was pay pretty much your basic bills, and that's it, without having any rent.
And
So
you
that way
couldn't
we'd
even
never
do
have to worry
that.
about a place to live for the kids. I worked. I have 8 years of tax returns that can prove it. She has no tax returns of income. She
Yeah, I
had
was
never
a
had to
stay-at-home
work.
mom.
Okay.
I did my job.
You did your job of sleeping
Yes,
around.
I did.
And you still do
Says
it.
the one that sleeps with everyone and can't own up to it.
I mean-
I do something wrong, I own up to it.
We wouldn't be here if that was the case.
Yeah, whatever.
Okay.
No, not really.
I've heard enough. Jerome,
Okay.
the envelope. I feel like we could be here for 2 more days and you all would still have stories. And I mean, you're not even really that old.
He makes me feel old. It's too much. That's why the marriage is over.
This is sad to see.
Well, when you have to financially support somebody that don't do nothing, I mean, it's kind of
Oh,
hard to hear.
okay.
These results were prepared by DNA Diagnostics and they read as follows. In the case of Fetters versus Fetters, pertaining to whether Mr. Fetters or Mr. Edmondson is the father of 9-month-old Corbin Fetters, it has been determined by this court the biological father is Mr. Fetters. You are the father, sir.
I'm very, very happy. I have words, can't even describe the fact that I'm glad that he is mine.
The doubt is
The doubt's gone.
Gone.
I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
we don't have to live with that anymore. As much as you all have been through and the process you're still going through as you are getting a divorce, that's not easy. And at the end of the day, it affects children.
Absolutely.
And divorce on top of a paternity issue, these two combined are a recipe for emotional instability, trauma for a child.
Absolutely.
And that's not what we want for
No.
Corbin.
No.
We don't.
And you got to get to a better place when it comes to the way you operate with one another.
Yeah.
And the way you speak to one another. And I'm not talking about every conversation end up with, I can't stand you and you slept with so-and-so, well, you did that. Every conversation just can't go there. But every conversation went there today.
It has been, Your Honor.
But every conversation can't go there.
Right.
Because then we're never putting the children first. And I'm not saying this comes as second nature to anybody. I mean, when you're going through a divorce and you're dealing with a relationship that is ending, it is difficult, it is painful. And unfortunately, we usually see the worst version of ourselves. And that's what's hard. Because for your children, you need to fight to show up and be the best version of yourselves. So that's gonna have to sink in, and you're gonna have to think about what you say before you say it to one another. Ms. Lema, you admit to making a huge mistake and hope it doesn't affect your baby Christina. You had an affair with Mr. Anderson, who is married, and believe he's your daughter's father.
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Anderson, you say your whole life is on the line and your marriage, and you're hoping you're not the father today.
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, so Ms. Lema, tell us how you got yourself into this mess.
Yes, Your Honor. It all started from a Facebook message when Mr. Anderson was messaging me on Facebook. So we started being friends online for about 1.5 years. Then out of the blue one day, he called me and said, you know, let's go out for dinner. So I was like, okay, well, you know, I'm not doing anything, so why not? We went out to dinner and we got a hotel room that night. We had sex.
Your Honor.
Just one moment, ma'am.
He, you know, we was planning a trip to go on a trip, so I couldn't make the trip, so I got on Facebook and I told him, you know, I'm sorry, babe, I couldn't make the trip. And a few minutes later, his Miss Anderson, you know, she inboxed me and say, like, who are you? So I'm like, well, you know, I said, I'm his girlfriend of 1 year, so who are you? She was like, well, I'm his wife of 10 years, you know.
Really?
Yes.
So before this, did you know he was married?
No, I did not know he married. He did not show any signs of marriage or anything.
Mr. Anderson, was this true?
I'm just sorry, Your Honor. I just want to say I'm sorry to my wife and my family and my kids.
I believe you are sorry.
Your Honor, it was a big mistake. And, you know, I really want my marriage and I want my marriage to work. But
And
it
I
started,
see your wife next to you and I feel her pain.
You know, me and my wife, we had a bad, you know, argument and, you know, and I decided to go out and take Miss Lema out one night. And me and her went out to, you know, the hotel. I brought her roses and, you know, we had sex that night.
So just this night, or
Numerous
is Miss
nights.
Lema's assertion that this went on, she told your wife she was your girlfriend for 1 year?
Well,
That's not one night. Was it one night or was it 1 year?
well, it was one night. I haven't heard
occasions.
from her in months. You know, and then she come telling me that, you know, she's pregnant, she having a baby, and she says mine, she wanted to be my baby and all that type of stuff. I told her, look, I love my wife, I love my family and my kids, and, you know, I just want to move on and, you know, get this thing behind me. And
So, let me be clear. You say this only happened this one night.
it's one night. One night. It was a one-night stand.
You
at a
never
hotel.
saw her again.
Never saw her again.
Ms. Lema,
That's wrong, Your Honor. That's wrong.
how often would you see Mr. Anderson?
We've seen each other for 2 years, every weekend, Saturdays and Sundays.
Was it strange to you that you only saw him on Saturdays and Sundays, or you thought he was working during the week?
Not really, because I went to his house numerous of times, but in his
You
house,
went, wait, excuse me. You went to his house
yes,
numerous
I have.
times.
Yes, I went to his house numerous of times, and I told her what was in
No,
her
Your
house,
Honor,
and I
she's
described it to
Oh
her.
my God.
Hold on. Mr. Anderson, where was your family when you would take this woman to your home?
They, you know, my son and them was probably playing, my kids were probably playing sports or something like that. You know.
So now your story is coming around. You're admitting that this continued past just one night.
Oh my God.
That's a yes.
Yes.
Now, Mr. Anderson, I'm going to remind you, you are in court, and you need to tell the truth. it's time for you to lay it on the line. If you really love your wife and your marriage the way you say you do and your family, because you got this young woman over here describing your furniture, and that's a problem to any woman. I'm mad for her.
She's just looking for some money.
That's
She's
not the
looking
case.
for a cash
That
out.
is not the case at all. That's not
Well,
the case.
if she's looking for a cash out, you gave her the directions because you led her right to your treasure, and that's your family.
Yeah.
You did.
Yeah.
So you become pregnant,
Yes.
and when you find out you're pregnant, who do you tell?
I went to Mr. Anderson at first. I went to his family at first. I couldn't contact him, so I went to his family, and I got rejected by them. So I was like, well, you know, that really hurted me. So I was just like, well, let me move to the other person that I had sex with during that time.
Oh, hold on. Let me understand this. So you did sleep with another man during the window of conception during that time?
Correct.
And you were sleeping with both men without protection?
Correct.
So how did you finally get in touch with him?
Well, I got in touch with him like later. Like we met up and we had sex again when I was around 4 months pregnant.
Okay.
No, Your Honor.
Oh, my
that-
God. Oh my God.
That didn't happen. She disappeared.
Yeah,
I haven't,
Oh,
Your Honor, I haven't heard from her in months.
So when she was 4 months pregnant, you didn't meet up with her? Mr. Anderson, just tell the truth now. Just tell the truth. I mean, really. Did you know Miss Lema was pregnant?
I didn't know, but we did sleep around a couple times.
So you met up with her again when she was pregnant, and you did sleep with her again? I'll take that as a yes. Miss Anderson, you are Mr. Anderson's wife.
Yes.
Thank you for enduring very difficult testimony. I know that was hard for you to hear.
Yes, it was, Your Honor.
Has the testimony you heard today been different from the understanding you've had?
Yes, Your Honor.
Please explain.
Once we messaged each other, I asked her for her phone number because I want to talk on the phone. You
Yes.
understand? And when she was telling me the things that she was telling me, my whole world it caved in. Like, are you serious? You know, this is
Because
my
you all
husband.
have built a lot together.
A
You
lot.
have-
A business. We've been through a lot, Your Honor. And just to
And
hear-
children?
5. Come on, like.
At what point did you hear there was potentially a baby?
She told me it was a baby. I asked him. Clearly, he lied to me because when I confronted him about it the first time, he told me they had sex one time. It shouldn't have been no
Numerous
times.
occasions.
It shouldn't have been no times. Even after you found out that he was married, you should have left him alone.
Okay, you're right.
You should have left him alone.
Okay.
Come on, like what kind of woman are you? Who does that? Okay. Now you got a baby. Not only that, you don't even know who your baby daddy is.
Okay, we're gonna find out today, though.
Really?
We're gonna find out today,
Really?
though. Okay.
Huh.
Okay.
Oh my God, this hurts really bad. And I try to keep it together for my children. But it really, really hurts. And just to know that there could be another baby in my family, like, come on.
And truthfully, your marriage is on the line because
My
of
marriage
this.
is past on the line. I can't. And then he's sitting up here. First he said it's one time, now it's numerous of times. You understand? I knew it when she told me what was in my house, that it was numerous of times. And he kept lying. It hurts really, really bad. It hurts really, really, really. No.
Mr.
Sorry,
Anderson,
don't fix it. Sorry, don't fix it.
Mr. Anderson, have you ever seen the baby?
No, ma'am.
Never.
Are you sure?
I'm positive.
You lie about everything else.
There's still another man you admit you were sleeping with during this time that could be your daughter's father.
Yes.
Jerome, I think we should meet him. Please escort him in.
Wow. Typical.
Maybe go right up next to the judge at the witness stand.
Thank you for joining us, sir. State your name for the court.
Cameron Scott.
Mr. Scott, thank you for being here. Ms. Lema has told us she was also in a sexual relationship with you. during the time she was in a sexual relationship with Mr. Anderson, so you could possibly be this child's father. Are you clear on that?
Yes, Your Honor.
What was the situation?
Well, the situation was when I first met Mrs. Lema, we met at a gas station. Come February, I took her flowers to a job site, took her out to eat on Valentine's Day, and then in March we had a sexual intercourse.
All right, and when did you find out she was pregnant?
I found out about 3 months later. She was already about 2.5, 3 months pregnant when she told me that she was pregnant.
And she told you herself?
Yes, Your Honor.
And when she told you, did you think, this is my baby?
At first I did, until she started telling me about Mr. Anderson.
Oh, she told you about Mr. Anderson?
Yes. She told me that there's a possibility that I may or may not be the father.
Okay, so she was honest?
Yes, ma'am.
And so at that point, you did what? Did you support her through the pregnancy? Were you there at doctor's appointments?
Yes, Your Honor, I was there throughout the pregnancy.
You was not there.
I reject, Your Honor. I reject. I reject
You
that, Your Honor.
object. You can reject the statement.
I object that, Your Honor.
Object too, but that's all right. You better go ahead and practice you some law, baby. Go ahead.
He didn't go to any doctor's appointments or anything like that. But
Okay.
as far as feeding me when I was hungry and stuff, yes, he was there.
So and that's a very important part of being pregnant,
Correct.
we know. Was Mr. Anderson involved at all?
No, he wasn't there neither.
Okay, and these are the only two men you were sleeping with at that time?
Yes.
Okay. Have you met the baby?
Yes, Your Honor.
You have. Do you come visit her regularly?
No.
Why?
Because I have doubt in my mind that she may or may not be mine, Your Honor.
When you spend time with her and you look at her, do you see a resemblance?
Yes, I do.
You do? You think she looks like you?
Yes, Your Honor.
Ms. Lema, when you look at your child, do you feel like she looks like one man or the other?
Mr. Anderson has a child that she looks exactly like her, like the way her eyes is.
You know what his kids look like?
Yes.
She been around my children. Are you serious?
Wait a minute. When?
Are you serious?
Like sometimes, he'll come meet me with the kids with them. Yes.
How old are your children?
Oh my God, I have a 12-year-old. I have a 10-year-old. I have an 8-year-old, 7-year-old, and a 5-year-old, Your Honor.
Mr. Anderson.
Are you serious? Are you serious?
How would she think her daughter looks like some of your children if she's never seen them?
She must be passing by and
No.
stalking,
Oh my God.
stuff like that.
No.
Oh my God.
Passing by? Listen, I don't want to do this at the expense of Ms. Anderson's feelings, but since this is a point of contention, explain to the court, how did you see his children? You say numerous occasions. How did you see them?
He bring the kids around me, like when we meet up or something, when he give me money, like he'll bring the kids.
Give her money? Are you serious?
Yes.
Are you serious?
That is not.
That's how you feel.
He bring the kids with them.
Yes.
And
That's how you feel.
who did they think you
That's
were?
how you feel.
I'm not sure who they thought I was.
That's how you feel.
But we didn't.
Who
do
is she? They
anything in front of
auntie?
them.
That's not true, baby.
Who is she? Your
That is not
cousin?
true.
Wow.
What are your hopes today, Ms. Lema? Do
I really
you
hope
want this
that-
to be your child's father?
Yes, I
Or do you
really
want
do.
this to
No,
be
you
your
don't.
child's father?
No,
Who do
you don't.
I want
No,
Mr.
ma'am.
Anderson
No,
to be
you
my child's
don't.
father. He's more stable.
You want the
than
baby
Mr.
daddy to be
Stein.
the baby daddy, and it's not him.
No, it's Mr.
It's
Mr.
not
Anderson.
him. It's
Mr.
not him.
Anderson.
It's
Okay.
not him.
We'll see today.
Get it together.
We'll see today.
Get it together.
We'll see today.
Girl, get your life.
Okay.
No, what she trying to get is your life.
She won't get
And
life.
this is what the problem
She won't
is.
get her life.
No.
What we need to do here is figure out the truth, because Mr. Anderson, you have gotten yourself into, this is beyond a mess. This is a nightmare. Your bad judgment has gotten you.
Bad judgment.
This is just a shame. And the only way to move forward is to get the results. Jerome.
I hope you're praying. I hope you're praying.
These results were prepared by DNA Diagnostics, and they read as follows. Jerome, why don't you take a stand right in the Middle of the aisleway. We know this can be emotional. Let's all just try to keep calm. In the case of Lema versus Scott Anderson, as to whether Mr. Scott is the father of 1-year-old Christina. Mr. Scott, you are not her father.
You just stay right here.
Pertaining to whether Mr. Anderson is the father of 1-year-old Christina. Mr. Anderson.
Yes, Your Honor.
You are not her father.
Oh my God.
There can't be.
Oh my God.
Plaintiffs lie, defendants lie, DNA does not lie. Mr. Anderson, when I read the result, I could see the relief you felt. I felt the relief as well, but it wasn't for you. It was for your wife. You know you need to be ashamed. I don't know what you're gonna say or what you're gonna do or how you're gonna begin again with this woman that you call your wife. Ma'am, Miss Anderson, I give you a lot of credit today. I can't say if I stood there in your position that I could even keep as much composure as you did today.
It's hard, but I mean, I feel bad for the child.
Absolutely.
Because it's not her fault that her mom is loose. But I'm happy I don't have to deal with that.